UK Sports have been rumoured to be creating a new football game for years now. Rumours of them collabing with FIFA gave career mode players some hope of a new football game being on the market to play, but it's unknown whether we will get a serious new game to rival the FC franchise anytime soon. But this still got me thinking, if a developer like 2K was creating a football game behind the scenes, how could they actually compete with EA? How could they tap into a gap in the market and steal as many players as possible? That's what I'm going to talk about in this video. What is missing from FC26 that a new developer could capitalize on? Because let's be honest, UFL, eFootball and Goals have tried, but they're just Ultimate Team rip-offs and have failed to compete with EA seriously. So my first point is we need a proper realistic simulation game, because let's be real, for the people that crave a realistic football game, the EA games just don't offer a good enough experience when it comes to realistic football. People would argue that PES used to offer that back in the day, but obviously Konami turned their back on that franchise. And realistically out there isn't a proper football simulation game that taps into the market of people that want realism. So for me, that is an obvious avenue to go down if a new developer was to create a new football game. Developing an AI that actually plays realistic and offers a challenge would honestly have a lot of people turn their back on the EA games. A better offline experience for career mode players would be a huge way to bring players away from FC26. The career mode community have been crying out for another option to play when career mode just isn't doing it for them. PES Master League used to offer us that outlet, but again, for 5 years we've not had that from Konami. So in my opinion, the football gaming market is crying out for another option that's going to offer an alternative to FC26 career mode, but also push EA to develop their game further in that department. When you look at the other game modes of FC26, they have more competition elsewhere. Ultimate Team has got competition from eFootball and UFL and soon from Goals as well. Pro Clubs has kind of got competition now from Rematch and eventually Man of the Match as well. But for us career mode players, what do we have other than Football Manager where you can't play the games? What have we actually got as another option, especially when it comes to the console players? Like, we are just stuck with career mode. So I do think that a realistic offline experience, that is 100% something that a developer could tap into and take a lot of customers away from EA. But don't get me wrong, I'm not deluded. I understand that nowadays, the way that gaming is going, online is the way forward. Online is where the money is. Online is where the majority of players are now, and especially when it comes to a more competitive game. So I'm not deluded in that, which leads me on to my next point. Why has no game created an online career mode yet? Like, surely that is easily the most obvious thing that a new developer of a football game could look at. There is no online career mode anywhere. EA, for one reason or another, have never added this into their games, whether they don't want to take attention away from Ultimate Team or they just can't be bothered to add it to career mode. But for me, these first couple of points just would seriously give a new game a big advantage over EA if they could offer a realistic experience on and off the pitch for both offline and online players. Honestly, a lot of people would leave FC26 to play this new game if that was something that they offered. It kind of feels like obvious at this point. 2K have previously spoken about creating a football game, and the one thing that they openly said was something that was difficult for them would be around licensing. Now, obviously, when it comes to licensing of leagues and teams, EA have got the monopoly on that. Like, there isn't really any way that you can compete with EA in that area. And that's something that we saw PES struggle with for many years, a lot of licensing issues around that game. But here's the thing, and you're going to see this on the concept that I created for a potential FIFA 2K career mode. I think instead of wasting time and money trying to obtain licenses, to maybe offer a completely new experience and have a fully customizable game. People might joke about the lack of licensing in PES and take the game less serious for that, but for me, I actually enjoyed that element of the game. Being able to create your own leagues, your own teams from scratch was actually a really, really cool part of the game. Of course, if you want the authentic experience, then ultimately you're always going to stick with the FC games because of all the licenses that EA have. But here's the thing, if you're a new developer entering the world of football gaming, if you're going to try and go toe-to-toe with EA when it comes to licensing, you're going to lose. It's simple as that. So for me, I actually think a new developer of a football game should just embrace the lack of licensing. It really isn't that important, and actually make it something that could draw people into their game. And that is accompanying the lack of licensing with the best customization possible in a football game. I'm talking about an advanced kit creator, so you can customize the kits of teams, a really good badge creator, obviously being able to edit the names of teams, We had good customization in the PES edit mode back in the day, at least for its time it was good. But you look at some of the stuff that you can do with mods in the FC games, if you add that kind of level in the console games, I think people are going to forget about licenses really quickly. The ability to create your own teams, your own leagues, have a completely customizable game. Even if you don't have fully licensed Premier League teams, for example, the ability to customize all of the kits every season, like things like that, I think would actually make up for the lack of licensing. So for me, instead of trying to copy EA and trying to compete with them in that level, offer a completely different experience. And that could include adding a creation center as well. So like an online app where people could even upload the things that they've created in the game, and then you can download it into your game. Things like this are possible in this day and age. Like EA had this over a decade ago, and it was really good for the time. And for some reason, they never continued with this feature in their more modern games. But honestly, something like this would seriously draw a lot of attention to the game. I think it would be a really cool breath of fresh air. The next issue that we have in football gaming is that no game currently offers even a slightly decent international football experience. As of right now, there's going to be no international football in Football Manager 26. In FC26, there's less than 30 national teams in the game, along with only 2 tournaments in the game that don't even have the correct formats. That is horrendous. There is no way of playing through a proper international career in any football game on the market. So again, an obvious one, add international teams in every competition that you can in the world, and automatically anyone who wants to experience the World Cup, the Euros, to play through qualifiers, to have like a proper career like that, instantly they're going to go to your game. Again, that is a really easy market that you can tap into. Even if you don't get the real kits, the real badges, just generic kits, generic players for the lower nations, it wouldn't be a big deal. Again, this is quite an easy gap in the market to tap into. Talking more specifically about 2K, obviously in their NBA games, they have a very popular player career with loads of cutscenes, an open world, a load more immersion. Again, if they were to create a football game, that would be something that would draw a lot of people that play player career over to their game. Adding a feature where you can import your face into the game. Again, these are things that EA haven't been able to add into the game as of yet, and another opportunity to get people interested in your game. 2K do unfortunately have a reputation of adding a ton of microtransactions into their game, so if they were to create a football game, that would be something that would be inevitable. However, if not buying any microtransactions in the game isn't to the detriment of your experience playing the game, it might not be the worst thing in the world. For example, if you just added like limited edition clothes into player career, maybe some extra slots to create more leagues and more teams in the game, an option to buy a database editor like what Football Manager have offered in previous years, it might not be the worst thing in the world. But finally, if a company like 2K made a new football game and they wanted to add an online card collecting mode similar to Ultimate Team, even there you could create a better experience than what Ultimate Team offers now. For example, actually having an open market where people can set the prices to sell their players, kind of like what Ultimate Team used to be like a decade ago. That would again instantly interest some of the Ultimate Team players on FC. Make the game actually good and fun and less about stupid, unrealistic promo cards. Give the players more of an incentive to play the games, actually reward them for being good at the game, have more focus on actually working up and down the divisions within a new online mode. Again, it might not be the worst thing in the world. Again, comparing it to Ultimate Team used to be decent back in the day, like a decade ago, when it was actually difficult to build a good team, when there was actually more of a reward to play the games and be good at the game. I feel like, again, if they were to go down the route of a card collecting game mode, I still think that you could make a better mode than what Ultimate Team is. I think at the moment what EA have over these other football games is just pure variety in all of the different game modes that they can offer, all of the different demands that people have when it comes to playing a football game. EA offer that at the moment, so like I say, going toe to toe with a company that have been making football games for 30 years probably isn't going to end well. So if there is going to be a new football game coming out anytime soon, I hope they take my advice and they try and create a football game that offers something different to what EA does. And there's plenty of things that they can do to compete with EA because their games are far from perfect. There's a lot of things missing. So those are my thoughts, kind of conceptualizing a new potential football game which would offer a really good alternative to FC26. But let me know in the comments what your ideas would be if there was going to be a new football game on the market from, let's say, a company like 2K. What would you like to see in that game? If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. I'd really appreciate it to help me continue building this channel. Subscribe if you haven't already, because there is a chance that if you leave the video you might not come across the channel again, so make sure to keep up to date with all of the videos that I'm posting on here. And yeah, thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.